What is going on, everyone? Welcome. Today is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. I'm realizing that everything is discombobulated. You know how I usually plug in the computer? That's not plugged in. First question for you. The mic I used yesterday, not plugged in. I think I took something that I learned in the way I set this up and applied it to the mic on the camera. So those of you watching live, I need to know, is it louder like this was louder? Fingers crossed, because the less stuff I have to set up, the better. Good morning to Dennis. Good morning to Gad, John, Jenny, Mark, Stacy, and all the rest of you. Excuse me, whether you're watching live later or listening, I appreciate you coming by. How was your Wednesday? What did you do? Did you train? Did you kick stuff? Did you punch stuff? Did you throw people? Did you wrap them up in a towel and call it jiu-jitsu? I don't know what you did, but I want to know what you did. Good morning, Nathan. Gad's dropping a link in the chat here from WebMD titled "To Come Back to the Vitamin D we discussed earlier," and the URL says dementia linked to vitamin D deficiency study says. Vitamin D is linked to every deficiency. The body doesn't work right. It would be like doing studies that say lack of water means that your body, study shows that not drinking enough water leads to this, and this. We know that. Nothing's going to work right. I did a graphic years ago, and it's my version of a health pyramid instead of a food pyramid. If you're roughly my age, you remember the food pyramid where we were completely lied to. And yes, we were lied to. It wasn't just they got it wrong. We were actually lied to. The people behind this knew it. And we were supposed to eat lots of grains and vegetables. And then at the top, it was like meat. By the way, flip that over and it's pretty close to accurate. But I made my own version. And it's got things like sleep and water and movement and exercise. Yes, because movement and exercise are different. And I knew that years ago. But I'm thinking that being outside may have a place on there. Vitamin D, at the very least, is on there. Stacy says the mic's working, less pops and clicks. That's great news. Dennis was at Superfoot Dojo last night. Many, many, many sidekicks. Nice. Jenny didn't throw anyone yesterday, but wanted to throw a toddler. Jenny, you might want to look up the comedian Bob Marley. He's from Maine. He gets out of New England once in a while. He tried to go really big. He actually had a pretty major role in the movie Boondock Saints, if you know that film. But he's this hysterical comedian. He has a joke where he basically talks about this, and you should find his stuff. I think you would appreciate it. Stacy says, in the floppy ear bloodhound we talked about yesterday, won Best in Show at Westminster. Well, that's cool. It's really cool. All right, so I got one vote saying the microphone's good, and I got 2 people telling me what you did. We can do better. What did I do? I did a bunch of work. Worked on the books. Again, chipping away at transitioning from one bank to the next. Almost done with personal accounts at one bank. Almost. Except that I've got somebody who's really bad at cashing the checks I send them. So I may have to keep that open for a few more months. What else did I do? I went to the gym. I went to the range. I went to the grocery store. I threw shirts at the window where the bird was. We've officially eliminated all logic for the bird. The bird wants to come in the house. I think the bird wants to attack me. No, I don't think that. I think the bird wants to come in the house. I don't understand. But once again, this morning was 4:50. 4:50 was when I got out of bed because I couldn't sleep. I went back to bed and tolerated it a bit, but you guys, I'm running out of ideas. Seriously, I'm not going to let this bird in my house. It's not a reflection issue. It's the only bird doing this. I don't know. Anyway, Jenny says, "Do I know the movie Boondock Saints?" Yeah, it's a great movie. Stacy went to Taekwondo and watched the dog show. Nice. What else did I do? Did I do anything else? I don't think I did anything else. It was a lot of work yesterday. Oh, and I took a nap because just on the surface, I'm down about 12 hours of sleep cumulative because of this bird. Yeah, maybe it's 9. So I'm trying to catch up. So I took a series of 20-minute naps. I'm starting to twitch hearing this bird. Maybe it heard about the bird that I hit with the Jeep and it's out for vengeance. I don't know. Maybe that's it. So what's going on today? Today, we have a new episode of Martial Arts Radio. Episode 721 is a rebroadcast of the live Q&A that Andrew and I did a couple weeks ago. If you weren't around for that Q&A, that was a fun Q&A. We did it. We recorded out on the porch. It was windy. I was distracted by the umbrella, but it was a good time. I know some of you were there live for it, but if you didn't check it out, check it out. We had a good time. Mark says, time to get a cat. Had a cat. Cat wouldn't have been effective at this. Where I live, I would not have an outdoor cat. I have friends that have outdoor cats. They have very short lifespans. Andy worked on painting and did patterns. Nice. Dennis says, the bird wants all in. See what I did there? Yeah, you are referencing all in weekend. Dennis was the first person to sign up for next year's all in weekend. I'm already excited about that. Did an update on the tour shirt yesterday. Had to add 1, 2, 3, 4 more dates to it because now free training days are locked in for dates and locations. And the event that Jenny's putting on. If anybody wants to come to the greater Philadelphia area at the end of July, you are welcome to join me. 5, because I hadn't updated it for my reprisal at Mark's school. So yeah. So did that. Had to adjust a little bit because there are so many dates on the back of the shirt now that the format I had didn't work. So that's kind of cool. We've got 12 dates on there. And that was my goal. So yay, I'm pumped. Oh, you guys are too funny. What else is going on today? You guys have anything you're looking forward to? I got to record intros and outros from last week's episodes. They're going to be the first thing I do because I keep kicking the can on them. My brain is just tired. Like just waking up an hour before I expect to just isn't serving me well. And doing it on a consistent basis is not working. So I got to record intros and outros. I've got a stack of meetings today. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have like 5 meetings. I've moved meetings to just Mondays and Thursdays, if at all possible. And it's been working out well. it makes my life easier because even on a recording week, it gives me 2 days to get work done, which is important. I need to get work done. I love connecting with people, but meetings rarely produce work. They produce tasks, not results. So. Jenny says July 24th. Yes, Sunday, July 24th. I will be in. I'm going to call it Philadelphia, even though it's not Philadelphia. To me, it's Philadelphia because it's nearby. And she says, I'm getting so excited now that it's on the t-shirt. The event feels so real. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. Take care, Andy. Have a good day. Pour more coffee. And then this evening, I think I'm bringing on a new client. So I reached out to somebody. I've been, one of the refrains in my life is I really could use some help. And I'm not good at asking for that help. I'm getting better. But I had been looking around for someone to clean my house. It's been a few years since I had a housekeeper. And it was really nice. My house isn't cluttered. Well, I shouldn't say that. My house is cluttered at times. My house isn't dirty. But it's nice to have a clean space, right? And it's one of those things that always falls to the bottom of the list. So short version, somebody posted on somewhere, social media, Front Porch Forum maybe, that they had openings. This person shows up, come to find out, I know her husband. I used to do IT work for a place that her husband used to work. And she's getting off the ground and she was saying some things and I was like, oh, you should just do A, B, and C, like around mileage and money and things. And she's like, oh. I was like, do you want to trade? So I think we're going to do half trade. So we're having dinner. I'm having dinner with her and her husband tonight to kind of figure out those details, which is great because that means I get to help somebody. I get another client doing something completely different than I've ever helped somebody doing, which is always great because it helps me get better at what I do. And my house gets clean. There we go. All right. Now, Frank gave us stuff to talk about. What is today? Today is Olympic Day. Let me share what he sent over. Jenny says, come on, computer, you can respond. There we go. Regular cleaning is one thing. A nice professional cleaning is a higher level of lovely. Even more relaxing if someone else does it. I totally get it. Yeah. She's been here, so she understands the peculiarities of my home. Like there's a greenhouse in the middle of it. I got to take that down. There's nothing in it right now. I just need to take it down. It's supposed to be hot as crud this weekend, so I think that I'm going to be doing primarily inside things. Although there is a bunch of stuff. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that right now. Good morning, Brian. According to anydayguy.com, Olympic Day is an annual celebration that commemorates the formal establishment of the International Olympic Committee on June 23rd. Hey, that's today, 1894. It was officially created in 1948 as a sort of birthday of the Olympic movement. Now from Britannica.com, a brief history of martial arts in the Olympics, which as a fun aside, Black Belt Magazine, social media posed the question, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but what martial art would you like to see in the Olympics next? And the majority of responses that I saw overwhelmingly said, we don't want any more martial arts in the Olympics. Olympics ruins martial arts. I have lots of things I could say on that. Fighting sports were among the first contests to be included in the ancient Olympic Games. Only foot races predated wrestling, which was introduced in 708 BC. And boxing made its debut as an event 20 years later. In 648, pankration, an ancient precursor to modern mixed martial arts, became an Olympic event. And there are actually some people pushing to have that back in. When Pierre de Coubertin sought to reinvent the Olympics for the modern era, wrestling was one of the events included in the inaugural games in Athens. Fencing, which, see, that's interesting to me because I think we've all assumed that wrestling was a, long time ago original Olympic sport. Apparently it wasn't. Fencing, which also appeared at the Athens Games, was in the process of transitioning away from a skill set that also had combat and dueling applications to a ritualized and codified sport. While fencing certainly had elements of a martial art in 1896, it has shed most, if not all, of them since that time. Boxing returned to the Olympic lineup in the 1904 St. Louis Games, but for more than a half century, additional martial arts would be relegated to demonstration sports status. Glíma, a form of Icelandic wrestling that originated with the Vikings. Okay, I want to learn more about that. Was a demonstration sport at the 1912 Stockholm Games, and the French martial art savate appeared at the 1924 Paris Games. Savate's pretty cool. Savate is pretty close to American kickboxing, but there are some important differences. Judo was included as an Olympic event for the first time at the 1964 Tokyo Games, and after disappearing from the program in 1968, it returned in 1972 and has been a fixture at every Summer Games since. Women's judo was added in 1992. Anybody who was a consistent listener to martial arts radio knows a lot about the history of the women's judo being included as a result of having on, what's her name? She's been on twice. Her mom's name is Rusty. Kanakogi, Gene Kanakogi. The Gene Kanakogi episode, which is one of the best episodes we've ever had. The name dropping in that episode is insane, but just a wonderful story. It goes really deep on that. The 1980 Moscow Games were held under the shadow of a US-led boycott in the wake of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and for that reason, many Westerners missed the demonstration of Sambo, a Russian wrestling form, during the opening ceremonies. It did not appear as an actual demonstration sport. Demonstration sports were phased out after the 92 Barcelona Games, but a wushu tournament was held concurrently with the 2008 Beijing Games. Taekwondo, the most recent martial art to receive the Olympic nod, made its debut as a medal sport for both men and women at the 2000 Sydney Games, and women's freestyle wrestling was added in 2004. And if you want to know more about Taekwondo and its inclusion in the Olympic Games and the craziness that happened to get it there, including, if I remember correctly, it was 88 and 96. It was a demonstration sport. It should have only been a demonstration sport once. Read A Killing Art by Alex Gillis. Did anybody have anything to say while I was talking? The comments kind of lag behind a little bit. Nope, I guess not. When I look at the Olympics, to me, I see a specific implementation. In the same way that when I went to competition or go to competitions, I was at a martial arts competition last weekend. I don't expect that everything done out on that floor is a direct, perfect representation of what those people do in training and why they train. Why do so many people struggle to see that when it comes to the Olympics? Now, much of it is because almost, can we say everything? I think everything else at the Olympics is rooted in sport, regardless of how you practice it. I don't know too many people involved in playing basketball that is not playing basketball. Now, there are certainly elements of basketball that you can find that aren't going to show up in the Olympics, like dunk competitions or really creative dribbling, which if you go on YouTube, you can find this stuff. It's really impressive. It's really cool. It utilizes a basketball, but it's not skills that are going to translate into a game. But just about everything is. Even judo has morphed, right? Judo is based primarily on the rules of judo, and there's classical judo, and I'm speaking from very little understanding, but I don't understand why people watch, let's say you watch Olympic Taekwondo, and you say that's ruining Taekwondo, because there's plenty of non-Olympic Taekwondo happening. I don't get it. If somebody has a better way to explain it, I would love to hear it. Maybe that's what Ged's doing here. He says adding a martial art to the Olympics is a bit contradictory, as it is an art, not a sport. Now, martial sports is another thing. There will always be a crowd for that, regardless of my own views. The Olympics don't ruin sports per se, the politics do. They say we don't mix sports and politics, but the opposite is true. Now that I can get behind. I think we're in agreement on that. This idea that we're taking a piece of what martial arts is, and we're losing some of the stuff that a lot of us find really important. And when I go to the competitions that I go to, they're the less tangible, but I think still very important elements of martial arts. Tangible might not be the right word. Like being kind to people and having integrity. That stuff may not always happen within the competition floor, because it doesn't often have the opportunity to do so. But it happens on the side. It happens with the referees. It's still happening within that context. And I think that that's why, for a lot of people, those competitions feel different. I would imagine if I went to the Olympics, that it would feel like an important part, an emotional element for me of martial arts training was stripped out. That's my expectation. Stacy's agreeing with Gad. Yes, Gad. And she also says, I get the variances in how the arts are presented. Can we talk about the Taekwondo sports uniform? Oi. Yeah. I remember when the most recent one was released and everyone assumed it was a joke. They're like, ha ha, that's funny. I bet they would actually use that, and people of importance had to respond, no, we actually are using it. This is what we're using. Like, what are you talking about? And for those of you who didn't see, you can go back and you can look at what they did for 2020, 2018, whenever it was. But the short of it is, it was like if Lululemon made a martial arts uniform. That's basically what we're looking at. Well, I will continue to carve out space for people to train and compete and share martial arts in the ways that they want to. I will defend someone who enjoys Olympic anything just as much as I will defend someone who spends 99% of their training time solo in their garage or basement. I will defend someone who is doing Aikido or doesn't use rank or even wear a traditional uniform, just as much as I'm going to defend someone who takes resident student status at at a large martial arts facility, at the Kodokan or something. That's the beauty of martial arts. It's so many different things to so many different people, and none of us are right. It is an opportunity. It is a tool set to make ourselves better. And the idea that one tool is more correct than another If you're trying to build something, if we, let's imagine here's this analogy. Yes, everyone's journey in the martial arts is personal and different, says Kelly. So let's imagine that there are two people and we are working on ourselves through martial arts. Maybe we're not calling it that. Maybe that's not a conscious thing. But we show up to train, even to the same school. But we need different things. There is an available tool set of drills and techniques and concepts from which we can pull. Am I going to use the exact same set of tools at the exact same time that the other person is? No, of course not. Because I need something different than they do. If I was working on a car and you were working on a car, unless both cars were the same car, damaged in the same way, we would not be using the same tools at the same time. Martial arts is the same thing. Do what works for you. Support others doing what works for them. Josh says, a lot of debates in the same way about the inclusion of breakdancing in the Olympics. It will lose its roots. It will just become gymnastics, etc. But it also provides a goal for folks beyond seeking sponsorship, leading to teaching and coaching opportunities. In other words, a career path for something that basically has none. As an aside, some of the Olympians I have known, Juan Moreno and Herb Perez, are great martial artists in their own right who just happen to go to the Olympics. And if you want to follow someone on social media who is the most vocal, in my opinion, about the damage that the Olympics does to martial arts, it's Herb Perez. Gad agrees with me. Well said. A lot of martial artists believe that they have somehow patented what martial arts should be and sue anyone for patent infringement. Yes, your way is not the only right way. Stacy says, how I present a form depends on where I'm competing. A Northern Vermont tournament is mostly Taekwondo. Southern Vermont, more karate, longer, lower stances, more ki. Yeah. Kelly says, I tell students Taekwondo is different and people like different slices. Right on. We don't get bent out of shape over which dog is the right dog. This is the most dog of dogs. They're all dogs. You might have a preference over which dog. Maybe you like big dogs. Maybe you like small dogs. Maybe you don't like dogs at all. Maybe you're allergic. Maybe you want 74 dogs. That's me. They're still dogs. You have the right to have dogs however you want to have dogs. If you want to get your cat and name it dog, that's fine too. All right, everybody. I want to thank you for coming by. I want to thank you for watching, whether it's now or it's later. Thank you to Frank for giving us stuff to talk about. Great conversation today. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. If you want to support Whistlekick in our mission to connect, educate, and entertain the martial arts industry and participants, no matter what they do, where they do it, how they do it, here are a few examples of what you can do. You can buy something at whistlekick.com using the code FIRSTCUP15. You could join our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Patreon.com/whistlekick. And if you want the full list, all the things you can do from the quick and easy to the slightly more involved, the free to the cost a little bit of money here and there, go to whistlekick.com/family. We are a family of martial artists. And if you feel that, I would encourage you to check that page out. I update it weekly. You can check it. You can check it out however often you want. If you have feedback, questions, or comments, you can leave them on the Facebook page, facebook.com/firstcupwithjeremy. You can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. First Cup is the only, that I know of, martial arts morning show. We air live 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. We're almost there. 45 Twitch followers. I need you guys to get me to 50. Please. Please. So if you have not made a Twitch account and followed Whistlekick, please do. And we're going to end on this comment from Gad. Well, your traditional dog is inferior to my mixed dog. Brilliant representation. Thank you, my friend. All right, everybody. You take care. I will see you soon. Well, more comments. All right. You guys are going to keep talking. That's fine. I'll leave you to keep talking. I got to go record some intros and outros. So nope, that's how I close Martial Arts Radio. I will see you back here tomorrow for Friday with jokes. Take care, everybody. Peace.